and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be working on back bends. Now I love back bends, but I know some of you hate them. So definitely add a little bit of mindfulness into the practice. If you feel any sharp pain at any point, ease out of the back bend, modify as you need. But generally back bends is something that all of us need more of. So in our day-to-day life nowadays, we're kind of all of us are hunched over. So we're hunched over our screens. Even if we're reading a book, we're hunched over. But we spend a lot of our day rounding through the spine. And today we're going to open up through the chest, but we're also going to open up through the front of the body. So the quadriceps, the hip flexors, all the way up through the front of the body. So it should feel really good at the end of the practice. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel, comment below if you enjoy this practice, and let's begin. Coming into easy seat Sukhasana at the front of your mat, taking your hands onto your knees, and then inhale, puff up your chest, shoulders draw back. Exhale, round and dome through the spine. Inhale, taking your first few back bends, gazing up, and then exhale, round. One more. Crossing over the ankles, coming into your tabletop position in the middle of your mat, and we'll take a few more traditional cat and cow poses. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, and exhale, round. So using this as an opportunity to feel into your body, your spine, and just notice how it's feeling today. So how is your spine feeling? How might you want to modify your practice, modify your back bends? Lovely, finding some stillness here, tucking the toes, lifting the hips all the way up and back, and finding your first downward facing dog of the practice. It might feel nice to create movement in your down dog, so pedaling out through the feet, taking any movements that feel nice, and then eventually finding some stillness here. We'll take 3 deep breaths in our down dog. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Another full breath here, settling in. Nice bend in the knees, stretching the hips high to lengthen the spine. Lovely, gazing forwards, we're going to step the right foot between the hands. We'll drop the back knee and we'll start to puff up through the chest. From here, we're going to reach all the way up, and then we're going to interlace our fingers and press the palms up towards the sky. So starting to come into our Anjaneyasana, our low lunge, but with a back bend. So gently start to lift your gaze, lift your chest, draw the elbows back and open up through the chest. Breathe here. Inhale. Exhale. One more deep breath. Exhale, frame your front foot. Lightly step back. Downward facing dog. Pause here. One more breath. Head is heavy. Left foot steps between the hands. We drop the back knee. Inhale, lift the heart. And then we'll find our interlaced fingers. We'll press the palms up above. And then we'll open up into our back bend. Gently easing into the right hip flexor. Try to draw the floating ribs in and lengthen all the way from your navel to the crown of your head. So starting to lengthen out of the hip flexors and deepen your breath. So really important not to hold the breath in our back bends, as tempting as that might seem. And then exhale, float your hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Pausing here. From here, we're going to step the right foot back between the hands, but this time we'll rise into our crescent lunge. So reaching the arms overhead, the back knee is lifted. We'll find that interlace, and then we'll press the palms up again towards the sky. So again, starting to lift out of the hips and press our hands up towards the sky. So there's a nice long line all the way up through the torso, through the crown of the head. Take your back bend, gaze up, and keep generously bending into the front knee. Lovely. One more deep breath, inhale. Exhale, hands go all the way down to the mat. We step back to our plank this time, and then we're going to lower knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, slither onto your belly, low cobra, and then option to press into the hands and take a high cobra, drawing the shoulders back, clipping the elbows in. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, downward facing dog. Lovely, another deep breath. Left foot, step it between the hands, no sound. Inhale, press into the feet, rise into your crescent lunge, arms overhead, interlace the fingers, press the palms up to the sky. And then start to lift out of your waist, coming into your nice, open, gentle back bend to begin. Stay nice and steady through the feet. Smile. Another full breath here. One more inhale. And then exhale, float the hands down. Step back to your plank, either knees, chest, chin, or if you're ready, chaturanga. Either low cobra or upward facing dog. Lift the chest, gaze up. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more deep breath. Inhale, we're going to reach the right leg up this time, and then we're going to exhale and bend and yawn open the hip. Option to stay here, or if you want to come into your wild thing, start to gently take the right foot behind you and inhale, reach the right arm up and back. So pressing the hips up, opening up through the chest, maybe taking a little mudra, joining thumb and first finger. One more deep breath here, inhale. Exhale to your plank, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, press the hip points forwards. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, press into the right foot, sweep the left foot up and back. Exhale, bend and yawn open the hip. Either stay here or start to gently flip your dog. So pressing into the sole of the right foot, we're high on the ball of the left foot, and we're extending and expanding through the chest, through the left arm. Another full breath in. And then as we breathe out, come back into your plank, lower with control. Inhale, upward facing dog, Ardha Mukha. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find your child's pose. Dropping the knees, sending the hips back, resting your forehead on your mat or even on your forearms. Maybe just rolling the brows from side to side, rolling out any tension. Pausing in your child's pose. So back bends, heart openers, they're very energizing. So we need these resting poses just to cool down the body, to cool and slow down our energy as we prepare for our next back bend. In your own time, come and meet me in a kneeling position. And then we'll come onto the knees. We're going to tuck the toes for our first variation. So we're going to come into camel pose Ustrasana today. So taking your block, I quite like to take it between the thighs to activate the glutes. We're going to tuck the tailbone, and then this will protect your lower back. From here, we're going to take our hands to the lower back. We'll clip our elbows in, press our hips forwards, and start to lift our chest again. So a little bit like in our crescent lunge and our low lunge, we're lifting the chest and we're gazing up, but we're doing it with length through the crown of the head. So try not to collapse into the lower back. We want to activate our abdominals and lift out of the waist. If you want to go slightly deeper here, maybe you remove the block. Maybe you want to reach for the heels. Or perhaps you even want to come onto the tops of the feet. If it feels okay in your neck, you can also release the neck back. And just stay here for a few more breaths. Using the breath to monitor your energy. Breathe into the heart space. And then in your own time, gently release the hips down. Come back into your child's pose, take rest. So back bends can be quite emotionally confronting. So just listen to what these poses are telling you, what is showing up, observe without any judgment, and then just let it go with your next exhale. Well done. In your own time, come back into a kneeling position. We'll shift the hips to one side and then we'll come all the way onto our back. We'll take a few bridge poses. So beginning by interlacing the fingers underneath your tailbone, and we'll come into a bridge pose. So pressing into the feet, lifting the hips. You might want to take that block between the thighs again if you feel that that helps take the weight out of the lower back. So lifting up through the hips. And then option here to take the arms overhead. And then exhale with the breath, we're going to move the hips down. Inhale, we're going to lift the hips up, arms go overhead. Exhale, gently moving down vertebrae by vertebrae. Perhaps closing the eyes to feel into this movement. 2 more times. Final round. And then stay up, interlace your fingers underneath once again and lift the hips as high as you can. Try to come onto the tops of the shoulders and then feel free to stay here, or if you have Urdhva Dhanurasana wheel pose in your practice, you can take your hands either side of your shoulders, so fingertips facing the tops of the shoulders, and then you can press into the hands. You might want to walk your feet in, you might want to send your chest towards the back of the mat, staying there for a few deep breaths, gazing between the hands if you're with me, and then gently coming onto the crown of the head, coming down the same way you came in, nice and safely. If you're in your bridge pose, come and meet us just by hugging the knees in and swaying from side to side. I quite like to take the knees a little bit wider in this one, just to spread through the lower back so it's not as intense. Very nice, well done. If you didn't quite make Urdhva Dhanurasana wheel pose, I have a tutorial coming, so stay tuned for that. I'll link it below in the description and I will talk you through your wheel pose, your Urdhva Dhanurasana. Otherwise, we're going to take a little supine twist to finish, so taking our knees towards the left, take our gaze towards the right, cactus open the arms, or if you have the space, spread your arms like wings, take up space, Just easing out of the lower back, little gentle twist, slowly moving over towards the other side, gazing over the left shoulder, nice gentle supine twist, and then come back to center. You can take a little Shavasana if you have time, palms facing up, otherwise rocking and rolling to the top of your mat. Bringing the arms up above, gaze up, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Thanking yourself for the time, the energy, for showing up. Hopefully you should feel nice and open through your chest, and I hope to see you very soon in the next one.